without beating around the bush, a lot of this involves what I would call child pornography. And when I talk about child pornography, I'm not talking about, here's my niece in the bathtub in a bubble bath playing around. We're talking about kids engaged in sexual activity. So that led us back here today.
What you just heard is the moment a detective sat down with a 24-year-old man in his own living room and told him exactly why law enforcement had knocked on his door that morning. A cyber tip, a Snapchat account, and more than 200 files that would change everything for one Indiana family forever. This is the story of Jonathan Peter Nell, a pastor's son, a National Guard mechanic, a theology student, and the morning that unraveled the life everyone thought they knew. Stay with us. This documentary contains no graphic content, but it deals with serious subject matter involving child exploitation. Our goal is to inform, to educate, and to be a voice for the victims who cannot speak for themselves.
Good morning.
Can I help you?
Yes. I'm Detective Mitchell, Westfield Police Department.
Yeah.
Oh, you can come on too. We got a search warrant for the house. We're here to talk to you and your son. Anybody else in the house?
His wife is in the house.
Okay.
I'm going to step in.
Yeah.
I'm going to step out here. You got it.
Can you come over here?
Sure. Dog's okay?
Yeah.
No.
Jonathan, you want to step out here, please?
Yes, keep him in here, Tyler.
Yeah, actually.
Is your mom upstairs? Step in here. Have a seat right there if you will. Jonathan, right? What's mom's name? Wake up. Mom's upstairs.
Going in for entry and clearing.
Yeah. Stand.
Anybody else in the house? Just mom, right? Anyone else?
No, she's upstairs.
What's going on? Hey, Chris.
Please, we have a search warrant.
Can we have you come down?
Could you come downstairs, please?
We'll explain how to get down here.
What's the dog's name? Patton. What is it? Patton. Patton.
Part of what I do and what Jim does is we're part of a task force. You're probably wondering why there's a Westfield guy in your house, and I guess it makes sense for Jim to be here with the sheriff's office. But we work in a task force. We all work together. There's people from Greenfield, Carmel, Noblesville, Anderson, all over the place. And the one thing that we do is internet-related activity. And our end goal is to help people. And why we're here today is that there's been some information that came back to this address. So we don't know if it's coming back from you. I don't know if it's coming back from Dad, Mom. Does your sister live here?
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
She's at college at Iowa.
Yeah. So that's what we're trying to determine today, and then get you guys back on your day. You see a gentleman walking in and out. They're doing the photos. They're doing all that. But you just me and Jim. That's all you got to worry about. Those guys will just do their thing. They'll be out of here. Okay. Does any of that make sense to you? I know you're a little shook up right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So with that, part of our investigation led us back to this home, and we're trying to determine what that is. And without beating around the bush, a lot of this involves what I would call child pornography. And when I talk about child pornography, I'm not talking about, here's my niece in the bathtub in a bubble bath playing around. We're talking about kids engaged in sexual activity. So that led us back here today. And we're trying to figure out who it might be and how it got here. But ultimately, we're trying to skip past that and find that kid. So if we can find that kid, we can get that kid help. If that makes sense. For every video that's out there, that's a child being exploited by an adult somewhere else. So that's, obviously there's no kids in the home here. So determining how someone came across that video. We find out where they found it, how they got it, and then we can move on to find that kid. Does that make sense? So, with that, has there been any times where you've come across any of that while on the internet or in the home?
I think that I'm supposed to talk to my attorney. We're friends with him.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you have an attorney locally?
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name's Ray Adler.
Okay.
I think I'm supposed to talk to him before I
I know, right?
just say a bunch of stuff.
No, I understand that completely. So with that, if you
But
want,
I do want to cooperate. I don't want to be uncooperative. But
well,
yeah.
if you want an attorney, then we can't have this conversation. Not like it's a punishment or anything, but that's your right. So if you want to speak to an attorney before we talk, then we'll just sit here today. We'll gather the electronic devices. I don't know if it's coming back to you or your dad, so people are going to be interviewing your dad as well, and we'll move from there.
Do you have a cell phone, Jonathan?
yes, sir.
Where's it at?
It's up in my room.
That's part of what we're doing here today, just to further explain. We're collect electronic devices since this is all internet related. Something's happened from here, from some sort of a electronic device. So that's what we're here for.
That moment, Jonathan asking for his attorney, is a turning point in this entire investigation. Because the moment he invoked that right, the detectives had no choice but to stop asking questions, and that decision had consequences he may not have fully anticipated. When a suspect requests an attorney, law enforcement is legally required to cease questioning, but it also means they cannot narrow down which specific device or account is involved, which means they must take everything. Every phone, every laptop, every tablet, every camera in the home. That includes his parents' devices. And as you'll hear in just a moment, that decision by Jonathan would lead to some of the most revealing conversations of the entire morning. Not with Jonathan, but with his mother, and then his father.
You got a chance to read the warrant?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the last part was a little bit vague because he was done reading it and stuff.
Oh, you're just skimming
Yeah.
through it? Would you like to read through it? I can
No,
get it for you.
It's okay.
Okay. Just so I don't forget, I'm terrible with names unless I write it down. So I apologize. And I'm just going to be upfront with you. I'm not the detective that's working the case, so I have minimal knowledge of the case. But obviously, you're not a suspect in anything. So I'm not going to read you your rights unless you want me to. But I don't plan on getting into like great detail. Anything to that nature, we can talk as little or much, or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer what I can.
Yeah.
And then, so obviously the search warrant, we're here because we work off cyber tips, and there was a tip that came back. Are you aware of all that?
No.
Okay.
No, I know kind of what you do.
Okay.
But I didn't know they wouldn't tell us anything yet about
Okay.
tips or...
Yeah, so we received a cyber tip, and that's why we're here. It led us to the house.
So is this tip something like an anonymous person can?
No, it all comes from like social media. So I believe this was Snapchat. Snapchat is the one that reported it.
Okay.
So, do you guys use Snapchat?
I have Snapchat on my phone.
Okay.
I don't use it.
Gotcha.
I have used it in the past for photos, but...
Okay. I know they have great filters, right?
Yeah, but then it gets to a point where it's too filtered, and so it's just not you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I don't like Snapchat. I think Snapchat it's pretty horrible, actually, for the intent that it was created for, and especially the younger generation.
Was there a police report involving, like, an incident when he was in high school?
No, I don't think there was a police report because they questioned something and that it came back that it wasn't actually what they thought that it was.
Okay.
So,
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Do you know?
I don't know much about it.
Did Nathan handle that?
No, I was the one that actually talked with the officer, and it was like a false alarm kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did it involve... I only got bits and pieces of it.
It was that he had something, I think because it was a school computer, he had something that the wording came up questionable, and so they had to do they had to look into it, and it came back that it wasn't actually anything.
So there wasn't like any pictures or photographs that they found? Oh my god.
They didn't find anything that was alarming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I didn't read the report. It just got mentioned, so.
Yeah. No, they didn't find anything that was actually. There was something that was questioned, but then after the investigation, they said there wasn't anything that was.
Okay. Was it like nude photographs?
Yeah, he had some nude photographs on his computer, on his school computer,
Okay.
which he wasn't supposed to have.
Was that during the incident with the school computer?
That was just during that season, he was hanging out with some guys that were not great influence on him, and he was, vaping and just didn't really care about school, so it was not the easiest season,
Oh, I'm sure.
but his heart is in a good place now, and he's.
What you just heard Christina say, I'm sure it's stuff off the internet, tells us something very important about how families often process these moments. There is a natural human instinct to minimize, to rationalize, to find the least terrible explanation. But the investigators already knew what was on that phone, more than 200 files. And what made this case particularly disturbing, beyond the nature of the material itself, is what else was reportedly found. According to the arrest affidavit filed by Detective Tyler Mitchell on October 15, 2025, among the material recovered from Jonathan's phone were more than 50 images and videos of his own parents. Additionally, chat logs reportedly showed Jonathan was active in a Snapchat group. In one conversation, he sent a video to another user and wrote, and this is a direct quote from the report, "I just like looking at this from time to time." That is the kind of detail that moves this case from a file number into something far more unsettling. And now, let's hear from the father.
So, as you started reading through here, you could tell it's all kind of technology based, right? So what we do is we do internet crimes. That's what we investigate. So the majority of our scope of our investigation involves technology, such as computers, cell phones, tablets, anything that can kind of touch the internet. At the same time, we also will look at anything that can store, digital cameras that can store material and so forth on it. So it sounds like you're a photographer for a living.
I am, yeah. Well, a part-time photographer, yeah.
We're probably not interested really in your camera. We'll look at it real fast just to make sure that there's nothing illegal on there that pertains to this investigation, but nothing that we probably need to take back with us today. So what we do, we'll come out, we're going to have a discussion with Nathan this morning. And Jonathan, I'm sorry. We're going to have you're Nathan, right? Yeah, sorry. We're going to have a discussion with Jonathan, kind of about what led us here and why this investigation is taking place and why we have a warrant. And it's just to get a better understanding, because the internet is a very large place. There's a lot of stuff that takes place on there. And there's a lot of different dark avenues you can go down. So the investigator, Tyler, who's on this warrant, he's going to talk to him about that stuff and try to get us a better idea of why he's here. Is there a passcode to it?
There is. The only thing I'm just thinking about is that should I call my lawyer and have him here or and I know that I want to do everything I can. Please understand. I want to do everything I can to help you, and I also am thinking about my family right now. So just is that if I say yes to my phone today, I'll have my phone, and if I have my lawyer come, that just you're going to take the phone anyway for days, if I understand that correctly.
So if you have your phone, we're able to go through it today and say, okay, there's no evidence pertaining to this crime on there. We know you're not involved in this. We're able to quickly turn around and give that back to you, because we call that basically an on-scene preview of your device. Okay. We don't have any of our digital forensic guys with us today, so that requires me to then seize that phone, put it into property, which we do have our crime lab here to collect any evidence. They'll take it back, they'll enter it into Fisher's property. They'll then just go into our regular chain of, hey, this is evidence that needs to be examined, and when they get time to get to it, when it hits that, they have other cases besides this, they will then pull it, hook it up to the equipment, and that could take, depending on how many photos and how much storage you currently have on there, it could take 24 to 48 hours to get into. Then they create a case, they look at it, and then we determine whether or not the phone can be returned back to you. So
I am losing my phone today.
If we end up having to take it with us, yes. Otherwise, if you provide that consent to look at it here on scene, and what you're telling me is truthful, then we can more than likely get that back to you.
Man, I want to, but I've just dealt with stuff recently where at my church where we're mandatory reporters for certain things, right?
Yeah.
And so I have certain of my employees that they have police officers that just they found out police officers can lie to them, and I don't think any of us ever knew that. And so we were instructed by our lawyer just to say, I'm happy to help you. I want to help you, but I'm happy to do that through my lawyer, Raymond Adler. And I feel like that's what he would tell me to say right now. It's not that I don't want to help you in any way, but he said sometimes these citizens are just we're too honest, and it ends up getting us in trouble. So I'm not. That's the only thing I have. Okay, a little bit of a.
I used to work for DCS back in the day, years ago. I could tell you, it's not a common practice. While in some interviewing, you will find that lies get told. We're not here to deceive you. The facts, what we have that already led us here today, are the facts, and we don't need to, give you any disillusion or mislead you in any direction. Again, we have an ultimate goal of getting to the kid at the end of the road. This is a small step in that progress. We have to kind of understand you're not the primary focus of our investigation, but again, you are part of the household. The utilities are in your name. Phones and so forth are in your name. So, yes, you're encompassed in all this. The lead investigator is obviously talking to your son, and that is where the focus of the investigation is. But we do have to do our due diligence. We have to eliminate you as a suspect. We do have to eliminate your wife as a suspect. This is going to be a tough question to ask. I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't mean to upset you, okay? Has he ever been victimized, or has he ever been in a situation where he's been a victim of any type of sex crime?
Not to our knowledge.
Okay. All right. The only reason I throw that out there is that, this line of work that we do, sometimes we see that being a correlation.
I would imagine that's
and so, we want to make sure that if there's some type of trauma there, that we address that the appropriate way, as well as we go through this process. So, that was just a question, not to accuse anybody or say anything there.
I don't. We've asked that question as parents a number of times. It's the worst nightmare that something would happen to your kids.
Yeah.
But the only story that Jonathan's ever told us is 15 years ago when we left. 15 years ago when we left a different church, that he said that there was a woman who kissed him on the lips. was 9.
Okay.
And that's all we know of.
Okay.
Right? Like, I can't remember whether he told us that she kind of touched him over his clothes or something like that. We didn't find out about it until years later.
Okay.
We tried to ask him to recollect anything that could have happened, and he couldn't recollect anything.
Okay.
It was just one of those odd stories that didn't really make a lot of sense.
Sure. Yeah.
But we don't know of anything. We're not aware of anything that.
Have you ever, jumped on a device or saw him on his phone or computer looking at material that you thought was questionable? Like, absolutely, pornography is typically not a big thing in Christian households to be looking at, but have you ever discovered anything that you're like, hey, that seems off, or maybe there's something of concern here?
There would definitely be things that I saw on his phone that were of great concern to me.
That you saw?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we talking about children? Are we talking about adults?
Pornography, it's not if your kid sees pornography, it's when your kid sees pornography.
Right.
And so I mean, the very first time that I saw stuff that was super concerning to me was, he was 10 years old, 11 years old.
Okay.
So, there was definitely concerning things that I saw that it was, you put up passwords, you try to stop stuff from happening.
Right.
But you can't stop everything from them getting to it, even with password protected stuff in many cases. So there were places where you pray a lot and you try to counsel your kid away from things.
Right.
So if there was, there's stuff that breaks your heart. So you counsel them away from it. But as to the content of what I saw and got rid of, if you don't mind, I'd just like to have my lawyer present.
Yeah, that's fine.
The content of what I saw and got rid of. That phrase, spoken by a pastor, a father, a man who co-hosted a podcast about morality, is one of the most loaded sentences in this entire investigation. He didn't say he reported it. He didn't say he called police. He said he got rid of it. And in the context of what investigators were uncovering at that very moment, inside that home, on those devices, that answer means something. Now, to be absolutely clear, Nathan Peter Nell was never charged with a crime. He was never arrested. The district reviewed his conduct separately, and that review focused on private digital content involving his spouse, not anything related to the criminal charges against Jonathan, but the questions that body cam footage raises about what parents saw, what they knew, what they chose to do or not do. Those questions don't disappear because charges were never filed.
All right, I'm Doug. I'm the lieutenant over the unit. So I talked to the case detective. Since your son has requested a lawyer and not want to speak what's going on, we can't narrow down exactly what devices that this stuff is going to be on. So we're going to have to take everything, which includes your phone and your laptop. So we have to take them back and make sure there's no child pornography on any of the devices.
Wow. Okay. How long will you have them?
It depends how quick we can get into them. So I can't give you a time frame. Sometimes it could be a week, sometimes it could be months, so I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
I can try to get yours and your husband's phones processed first, but I can't guarantee how quick it'll be.
Yeah, but that's how we do all of our work.
I understand. So you can shut off service and get another one until these are done, but that's the best I can offer you right now. I can't. I have to search warrant. We're taking all the electronic devices.
You did give the passcode, so that is a plus. So that should speed things up a lot quicker. Because if we don't have passcodes, then we have to hook it up to a machine and brute force, and that can take a long time to go through all the different combinations. So,
Jonathan's our primary suspect. You know, we have to continue to look at everybody equally until we can disprove that. And without being able to have those conversations with him today, that's going to require us to take those devices, okay? So I know we spoke earlier about helping to get your wife's phone back to you and stuff like that. That won't happen. So,
No, I can only say that I'm sorry that this even has to happen.
yeah. Again, he is young. He's got, no criminal history or anything like that. So I hope that whatever comes of this is kind of that aha moment for him, and kind of something has happened in the past that he gets the proper help for that. It's in his hands and what he wants to do. So,
Yeah, Jonathan is in a place right now. Just when you see that your kid is trying to make a change in their life and they're repentant for what they've done, then that's a better place to be spiritually speaking, right? You're trying to just make sure, are you done with that old way of life? Jonathan is probably right now in a place where he is as repentant and moving away from that as I am aware of. And you wait a long time as a parent, hoping that day comes. So that's really where he is right now,
yeah.
The kid he's in the Bible every day. He wants to be he wants to be a military chaplain, or be a chaplain's assistant. He's trying to change his MOS. He's trying to put himself in the right place. So, if there's things that have followed him, I don't know how long all of this takes. I imagine it takes a while to get it all together before you get to this point, but I think he's in a different place in his head and in his heart.
No, I've been to other colleges, sir.
Where else?
Indiana Wesleyan University.
Oh, nice. What do you study there?
Theology.
Did you graduate from there or just go?
No, I didn't graduate from there.
Okay. How long did you go there?
About a semester.
Just a semester? Or you said 5 semesters?
Just a semester.
Did you like it up there?
I liked it. I had some bad friends, so I had to come back home and.
Gotcha. What do you mean by that?
They were just bad influences.
Not to pry too much, but in what kind of, drinking, smoking, alcohol,
Just
drugs?
smoking. Yeah, and then nicotine stuff too. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. That's not probably very accepted up there, is it? Or more so than what people probably think. Gotcha.
Basically, the entire football team is like that.
I figured so.
Were you on the football team then?
No, but I hung out with the football team guys.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of guys who probably went there to play football was more about playing football than it was probably about studying, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of easy for it to slip into, being more of a Christian school and slip into a little bit of the party time and all that. First time away from home. That's understandable. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, I'm in the National Guard.
Okay.
Oh, okay. When do you drill?
This weekend.
You enlisted or an officer?
I'm enlisted.
Nice. Where do you drill at? Down Lawrence or Stunk Field or something? Or?
In Shelbyville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think they fly out of there, don't they? Don't they run some helicopters out there or no?
Yeah. It's a Black Hawk unit.
Yeah.
I fix Black Hawks.
It probably takes a lot of skill, I'd imagine. It's probably not something that's comparable to working on a Toyota.
I'm not gifted at it, so I had to study pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, that shows a lot of work ethic.
How long have you been in the Guard?
4.5 years.
Oh, wow. You gonna re-enlist?
I was about to, yeah.
That change or what?
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I signed conditional release papers just separating me from the National Guard, so I'm trying to go active right now.
Nice.
Notice how that conversation unfolds. The detective isn't pressing hard. He's keeping it light. School, the Guard, helicopters. That is a deliberate technique. When a suspect has invoked the right to an attorney, investigators cannot ask incriminating questions, but they can talk. They can build a picture. They can observe body language. They can establish a baseline. And in this case, what they already had on that phone made the conversation almost secondary. Jonathan Peternell had already been identified through a cyber tip sent by Snapchat to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children operates a system called the Cyber Tip Line. In 2023 alone, the Cyber Tip Line received more than 36 million reports of suspected child sexual exploitation. That is the scale of what law enforcement deals with every single day. And every single one of those tips represents a child somewhere in the world. That is the reality behind every case like this one.
The images, that's why I say like the little breadcrumbs. So like when we're able to talk to people that have those images in their account, like we want to know where they came from. Like, did you, like whoever has them, like did you seek them out? Did someone send them to you? Do you know who these children are? So that way we kind of have to like work backwards to be able to try to find these kids that are being exploited. And obviously I know you know how important it is because you said you guys help.
Absolutely know how important it is.
All right, I'm Doug. I'm the lieutenant over the unit. So I talked to the case detective. Since your son has requested a lawyer and not want to speak what's going on, we can't narrow down exactly what devices that this stuff is going to be on. So we're going to have to take everything, which includes your phone and your laptop. So we have to take them back and make sure there's no child pornography on any of the devices.
Wow. Okay. How long will you have them?
It depends how quick we can get into them. So I can't give you a time frame. Sometimes it could be a week, sometimes it could be months. So I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
I can try to get yours and your husband's phones processed first, but I can't guarantee how quick it'll be.
Yeah, but that's how we do all of our work.
I understand. So you can shut off service and get another one until these are done, but that's the best I can offer you right now. I can't. I have to search warrant. We're taking all the electronic devices.
You did give the passcode, so that is a plus. So that should speed things up a lot quicker. Because if we don't have passcodes, then we have to hook it up to a machine and like brute force, and that can take a long time to go through like all the different combinations.
No, I can only say that I'm sorry that this even has to happen.
Yeah. Again, he is young. He's got, no criminal history or anything like that. So I hope that whatever comes of this is kind of that aha moment for him, and kind of something has happened in the past that he gets the proper help for that. It's in his hands and what he wants to do. So.
Yeah, Jonathan is in a place right now. Just when you see that your kid is trying to make a change in their life and they're repentant for what they've done, then that's a better place to be spiritually speaking, right? You're trying to just make sure, are you done with that old way of life? Jonathan is probably right now in a place where he is as repentant and moving away from that as I am aware of. And you wait a long time as a parent, hoping that day comes. So that's really where he is right now, you know?
Yeah.
The kid he's in the Bible every day. He wants to be he wants to be a military chaplain, or be a chaplain's assistant. He's trying to change his MOS. He's trying to put himself in the right place. So, if there's things that have followed him, I don't know how long all of this takes. I imagine it takes a while to get it all together before you get to this point, but I think he's in a different place in his head and in his heart. So I know that probably doesn't mean it. I mean, you guys, your job is just to enforce the law, and I understand that.
He's in the Bible every day. A father speaking about his son while officers were pulling evidence off that very son's phone. This is one of the most painful dynamics in cases like this one. The gap between the person a family believes they know and the reality that investigators are uncovering in real time. And it raises a question that doesn't have a clean answer. When does a parent's faith in their child become willful blindness? Nathan himself admitted he had seen things on Jonathan's phone years earlier. Things that, in his own words, were of great concern. He said he got rid of them. He prayed, he counseled, but he did not, apparently, report. That is not a legal charge, but it is a moral question that this case puts on the table, and it deserves to be asked.
Obviously, we're here to talk to you and Dad, and you're, like I say, Tyler made sure you're crystal clear on that advisement of your rights, and so it sounds like you understand that, and we respect that, and that's we would never do anything to jeopardize that. But that's what we'll be doing here. We're going to collect devices and take those with us, and they'll be forensically analyzed, and then we'll move forward from there. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Before we ask any questions, it is my duty to advise you of your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court or other proceedings. You have the right to consult an attorney before making any statements or answering any questions. You have the right to have an attorney present with you during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now, you still have the right to stop answering questions at any time or stop the questioning for the purposes of consulting with an attorney. All right? So that's your statement of rights form. If you'd like to look at it, and then there is a waiver section that is down below it. If you'd like to speak with us, we can go through the waiver portion of it. One of the things that this waiver section includes is this sentence here about I was taken into custody. You are not being taken into custody. You're part of, because you live here and this is the location where we're doing the search warrant and you have electronic devices on this property, yes, you're part of this investigation. You're being detained. You're sitting in the back of a police van with two police officers. You're being detained. You're not being arrested. I don't anticipate that anyone's going to get arrested today outright. We're here to collect evidence and to see if we can obtain statements. That's sort of the primary goal of today's operation. Are you interested in considering the waiver route and speaking with us?
Man, I want to, but I just dealt with stuff recently where at my church where we're mandatory reporters for certain things, right?
Yeah.
And so I have certain of my employees that they have police officers that just they found out police officers can lie to them, and I don't think any of us ever knew that. And so we were instructed by our lawyer just to say, I'm happy to help you. I want to help you, but I'm happy to do that through my lawyer Raymond Adler. And I feel like that's what he would tell me to say right now. It's not that I don't want to help you in any way, but, you know, he said sometimes we as citizens are just, we're too honest, and it ends up getting us in trouble.
You're not the primary focus of our investigation, but again, you are part of the household. The utilities are in your name. You know, phones and so forth are in your name. So, yes, you're encompassed in all this. You know, the lead investigator is obviously talking to your son, and that is where the focus of the investigation is. But we do have to do our due diligence. We have to eliminate you as a suspect. We do have to eliminate your wife as a suspect. We do have to be thorough and go through devices, you know, including, you know, your wife's camera and any other photography equipment she may have, or videography. So just understand that we are going to do our job. We are going to be thorough and go through an investigation as I think anybody would expect us to do.
Yeah.
Have you ever, you know, jumped on a device or saw him on his phone or computer looking at material that you thought was questionable? Like, obviously pornography is typically not a big thing in Christian households to be looking at, but have you ever discovered anything that you're like, hey, that seems off, or you know, maybe there's something of concern here?
There would definitely be things that I saw on his phone that were of great concern to me.
That you saw?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we talking about children? Are we talking about adults?
Pornography, it's not if your kid sees pornography, it's when your kid sees pornography.
Right.
And so I mean, the very first time that I saw stuff that was super concerning to me was, yeah, I mean, he was 10 years old, 11 years old.
Okay.
So, you know, there was definitely concerning things that I saw that it was, you put up passwords, you try to stop stuff from happening.
Right.
But you can't stop everything from them getting to it, even with password protected stuff in many cases. So there were places where you pray a lot and you try to counsel your kid away from things.
Right.
So that if there was, you know, there's stuff that breaks your heart, so you counsel them away from it. But as to the content of what I saw and got rid of, if you don't mind, I'd just like to have my lawyer present.
Yeah, that's fine.
On October 23rd, 2025, 6 weeks after that search warrant was served, Jonathan Peternell was arrested. He was charged with child exploitation, a level 4 felony under Indiana law, and multiple counts of possession of child sexual abuse material. He did not post bond. He remained in custody from the moment of his arrest through the entirety of the legal proceedings. In January 2026, Jonathan entered a guilty plea. He pleaded guilty to 1 count of child exploitation and 3 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material. The plea agreement left sentencing to the judge's discretion, with one boundary. The maximum sentence allowed under the agreement was 6 years.